सुनना कुछ अनुभव को न अनुभव करने में उलझा हुआ है. You train the nervous system to experience certain experiences and not experience certain experiences. Listening is for creating, resolving, fulfilling. If you're committed to marriage, then marriage. If it's committed to divorce, divorce. Whatever the situation is, whoever you're talking to, what you are creating is always a choice you have.
There is no right and wrong. There is just two ways of looking at something.
We tend to be right and we invest more and more in defending ourselves, being more and more right. We are not present to the impact of that.
What would you say, because everybody is coming from a different textbook or different theory, how do you start with harmony, maintain harmony, end with harmony, knowing that they're going to be two different contexts, living together, building a life together?
This is a slot machine game where lucky few will hit the jackpot. What it will take to have a marriage work is
people take conflict very seriously and very personally. So, आपका एक तरीका है सोचने का, मेरा एक तरीका है सोचने का. But somehow, growing up, we've not been taught that it's okay for somebody to think a particular way and it's okay for you. There is no right and wrong. There is just two ways of looking at something. Yeah. I think we are so focused on right and wrong. We are so focused on convincing the other person कि ऐसा ही सोचना चाहिए, तभी आगे जाके we'll be on the same page. How do you think you can explain that 2000 type of perspectives can coexist and be happy?
मैं अगर किसी को बोलूं कि संदर्भ निर्णायक है, the context is decisive, है ना? तो क्या-क्या संभव है? What is possible in any paradigm, in any reference point, कोई भी reference point, आपके हर एक के reference points है, आपके narratives है, वो ना अभी बहुत common हो गया है, the way people talk about these things. That's your, if you notice those Pakistanis and people representing India in TV conversations, the way they argue, that's your narrative, this is your narrative. So the narrative about one's own life that people have. So that these are perspectives. Now, everybody understands that. But is your listening malleable to any possible perspective? आपके सुनने में चांदी का वर्क भी बनता है जैसे और जरी भी बनता है. तो malleable और ductile है क्या आपका listening? Is your listening and speaking malleable and ductile? Can you dance with whatever is so? So it is, अभी सुनने को तो possible दिखता है, नहीं really संभव है.
But I think people apply नहीं कर पाते, क्यों?
काम है और एक्चुअली काम ऐसा है ना कि साइकिलिंग भी मुश्किल है. तो मैं पहली बार गाड़ी, when I was trying to learn to drive, the first time you sit in a car you wonder who the hell made 3 pedals when there are 2 legs.
Yeah.
तो ये मिरर भी देखना होगा, वो मिरर भी देखना होगा, उसके बीच में गाय, भैंस और कुत्ता और इंसान और दूसरी गाड़ियां भी आएगी, वो बीच में से कट भी मारेगी. हंसते गाते चलाता हूँ ना अभी गाड़ी. तो दिखने में वो इट लुक्स डिफिकल्ट. मैं कैसे सुन रहा हूं और तुम कैसे नजर आ रही हो मुझे, किसका काम है? और भाई सुन कौन रहा है? Who is listening? And do I? What if I say that that's the only choice I really have? परिस्थिति और लोगों का चॉइस किसने दिया मुझे? साउथ इंडियन, मैंगलोरियन, बिजनेस फैमिली, कंजर्वेटिव, ये चॉइस दिया था मुझे किसी ने?
No, you're born with it.
Yeah. Now I am saying that how one can listen, how one can speak, you are born into it. कि मैं नमन कर रहा हूँ, ये सब सुना है और ज्ञान तो हमारे यहाँ तो आध्यात्मिक है, देश है भाई, तो 10,000 साल पुराना ज्ञान है हमारे पास. तो बट प्रैक्टिकली एप्लीकेबल कि कोई भी आए, कहीं भी जाऊँ, मैं सुन सकूँ जैसे मैं प्रॉमिस कर रहा हूँ तुमको, मैं कैसे सुन रहा हूँ, तुम कैसे नजर आओगी मुझे, हाउ यू अकर टू मी. आई डू हैव अ चॉइस अबाउट दैट. How? Who's listening?
Yeah.
So how, and most of the time, you know, the world of listening and speaking that we are born into is that there is some Delhi wali, okay, and there is some South Indian from that side of Mumbai, and this financial background and blah 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 and blah blah blah. So that you have to listen to the world as objects and you are some object. What ensues is conflict.
Yeah.
And bound to be conflict at some point. I like what Sadhguru once was said in one of his interviews. He said that without, in the Gurukuls, they would not start the education of the child without having them experience Aham Brahmasmi. Not separate from anyone. Then begin education. The moment they've woken up into a world where everybody is dealing with a separate situation. This is how it is in Delhi, this is how it is in Mumbai, this is how South India is, and this is how I am, this is how these people are, my neighbors are like that, my building society is like that. The moment people are separate, knowledge will be for arming themselves.
Because limitations is the base then.
हाँ, तो वो मैं ढूंढ रहा हूँ कि मैं प्यादा आगे करूँ या घोड़ा निकालूँ. मूव्स ही चल रहे हैं, सारे कॉन्वर्सेशंस. तो देयर इज अ वर्ल्ड दैट एंस्यूज. इसलिए आई सेड कि संदर्भ निर्णायक है. कॉन्टेक्स्ट इज डिसाइसिव. सो द वर्ल्ड दैट इमर्जेस इनसाइड दैट, एंड देयर आर realms of coming into communication. How about if it is possible to come into communication creating? Whatever the circumstances are. Circumstances might be great now. All of us went through the pandemic and all that happened, and all of us are dealing with every day in and day out in life, in our relationships. Whatever the circumstances, you can listen to create what I can create now. To resolve something right now. To fulfill something right now. So however it is in Ukraine right now or with the Hamas and the Israelis right now. And people did have conversations in these. See, the Irish Republican Army's problem didn't look like would ever solve, right?
Yeah.
So it's not there anymore. So there are answers. It looks like impossible at times. So similarly, it looks impossible in my extended family at times with the property in the village. Okay, so it's possible. Sometimes it looks impossible with my wife sometimes, right? So in every point, it's possible to come from, to listen, to create.
You're absolutely right. I mean, the intent of listening, when that changes, the situation can change, the argument can change, the result can change, right? Right. When you work with people, how often do you see people suffering because of what their partner did, what their partner said, because their expectations are something and the results are something? Can you explain that?
Almost all over the place, right? That the orientation to listening, and people really don't have an access to begin with. That what it will take for me, how do I walk through this swamp? It's actually literally sometimes it's like banging your head against the wall. Yeah. How can I get my child to listen to this? And how मैं छोड़ दूँ? Or let it be, allow them freedom. So whether it is your business or your quarter target or whether it's your child, okay, so there are times when you're struggling with that. And most of the struggle, so what we deal with in our courses is what we call existential philosophy or ontology. On the court, as lived, what is shaping the way I'm listening right now? See, this shirt is made of cotton. What is listening made of? So, simply said, layman, simply said, it's made of concerns. Now, concerns sound like worry, but negative. No, concerns could be positive. I am concerned for how you would be exploding and wildfire about your podcast, and people are raving and ranting about it. I might be concerned about that. So that's a positive concern. Yeah. So concerns is not negative necessarily. You wake up in the morning and your radar is looking for, listening for, calling for something. Yeah. It's actively eliciting something. So I'm saying that people, the way they have kind of wound up, relating to themselves as some characteristics, and then the brain has a reptilian ancestry. It's a fight or flight machine. You train the nervous system to experience certain experiences and not experience certain experiences. तो मैं बोलता हूँ कि आपका सुनना कुछ अनुभव को न अनुभव करने में उलझा हुआ है. पॉज करना जरूरी है इसके बाद कि मैं जब सुन रहा हूँ तो कुछ अनुभव को न अनुभव करने में उलझा हूँ. तो और उसकी आदतें, आई एम habitually oriented to whatever I'm calling Hari is just habits of listening and speaking.
Right. So then the suffering lies in who?
I am set up for again and again. So you see, it kind of repeats. My father said, you will better listen to your mother. Right? Now, somehow, every catering order I do, every new business I open, there is somebody, familiar kind of conversations keep happening. I have coaches who coach me in training to lead communication courses and develop me over the last 33 years that I've been conducting courses. So when they're instructing, they're training me, they're developing me to unfold further. And I end up like a machine. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do becomes more important than actually discovering that I requested to be coached in.
Don't tell me what to do is coming from that first initial somebody telling you what to do.
कुछ अनुभव को न अनुभव करने का मशीनरी हूं मैं. It's on the quote, existential, as lived, day in and day out. Gyan I might have, I have read so many books, I have done those meditation courses, I have done this, a lot of, other than landmarks programs, I have off and on stepped out and done Vipassana, and I will not name all of that, but every 2 or 3 years I have stepped out and done many other courses with many of the programs that are available to have more perspectives and new worlds available. But bottom line, it's about, as lived, it is about resisting certain experiences that you, and those patterns, it doesn't matter whom I marry.
So do you think when husband and wife have conflicts, they have conflicts based on expectation, they have conflicts based on results, I expected this but I did not get this, they have conflicts based on different way of thinking, do you think all of them are coming from the childhood conditioning then?
Surely. I mean, if you really, like that's why I said it doesn't matter whom you marry. And also the world of marriage that you have from the culture that you come from, and how marriage is for you, or what money is for you, or what family is for you. So, the way it is in Delhi is different from the way it is in the villages in Mangalore. Okay, now I was not brought up there, I was born there. But I'm saying that there is a world that of reality given how you are oriented, the context that you have for marriage or money and
family,
children and all of that. Okay, so and inside that, your habits that shape on the quote day in and day out of how you listen. So inside this, यही संभावनाएं हैं.
So two people will never come from the same school of thought, right? Like you said, I'm, let's say, from Delhi, so my original concepts about marriage, money, child, career, everything will come from the first context given to me. I'm married in Bombay to a guy from here, so his context is going to be different. And I'm talking about a million couples that are married from different parts of the world, different parts of society, different backgrounds, different cultures. What would you say, because everybody is coming from a different textbook, as to say, or different theory,
right?
How do you start with harmony, maintain harmony, end with harmony, knowing that they're going to be two different contexts, living together, building a life together?
Yeah. To begin with, you got to be, like, you actually be clear about that this is a slot machine game. rare lucky few will hit the jackpot. Somehow, you are just black tea and I am milk. तो perfect combination. तुम दाल हो मैं राइस हूँ, तो perfect combination हो गया. You have to be really lucky to. Personalities, identities are about identifying separate, and then you have to live together. So dealing with your own identity is a big challenge for most of us all the time, right? What it will take to have a marriage work or any partnership, even business or parenting or anything at all to work, is actually training yourself in being able to first be here. One of the first practices that we have, that we train people in who come to do our basic program in the communication curriculum, is stop. Now, most of the time, that is a generative act, I'm saying, to stop. People don't stop. So I'm talking to you and I'm thinking about, we have to take the dog to the vet and blah, blah, blah. So I'm going off, and then I'm too enamored by what I'm talking, and I'm not listening to you, I'm listening to what great stuff I'm saying. So all of that is happening all the time, rather than actually being here with you. And the moment I notice it, the moment I notice that I don't listen, how much I don't listen. So to have a marriage work, there is an intent of marriage. So my intent in any communication is, don't tell me what to do. Like a machine, I wake up like that. Don't tell me what to do. Who's telling me what to do? Who's telling me what to do? Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. Like
that's your baseline.
The identity का मतलब foundation वहाँ से है. The essential base of how I listen is, who's getting me to do what they want me to do.
And I'm going to oppose it.
Okay. So, whoever I marry will bear the brunt of it. Okay. So, if I choose to marry this independent, strong, powerful woman, there is going to be conflict. Mostly, what is guaranteed in any relationship, even if it's a business partnership or together your husband and wife are parenting a child, with everything that is important in two human beings getting together, in a marriage also, is being. So you should include the other person, you should be inclusive, and you should not be positional, don't be stuck. Everybody knows all of that. There is enough WhatsApp videos going on all over the place and enough reels going on all over the place.
Embrace your marriage is what they say, but what does it actually mean?
Yeah. How do I actually do that? Now, first thing is, like I was saying, that you begin with at least stopping. Like, notice what is running the show. So while I'm driving home, if I stop and I notice, as I press the doorbell, who's walking in? How's the space going to be? Most of the time I'm already irritable with all the things that have happened at the restaurant and all at my business and all the interactions I've had. And then I know that my wife is from Iran, so there's whatever is happening in Iran, her sisters are there, so she's worried and upset with everything that's happening. So as I'm walking home, the kind of conversation is predictable, and every day it's like that. See, every moment is like that. Now, unless you're present, when I say present, I mean you're aware. So I've got, as a practice, even today, I've got 3 alarms on my phone to stop and notice what's happening in my jaw. It's clenching in my nostrils. What's my emotional state right now? So as I ring the doorbell or as I use the key and open the door, the space is going to be predictable, and there's going to be a predictable conversation with the way I'm walking in. The moment I'm aware, in that moment, today I can call the kind of marriage that I intend to call, the kind of parenting that I really intend. Okay?
But you're talking about intent. Intent can be a lot of things. I can intend to have a very happy marriage. Let's say I'm engaged and I have the right intentions. I'm pregnant. I'll have the right intentions to raise my child. Intent can be there. But my point is that sometimes the conditioning is so strong that finally, when I've gotten married and it's my first 5 days in my in-laws' house, everything will trigger me. Everything my husband will say will come from that, like you said, the baseline of my reacting will be. I may have all the right intentions. I'm pregnant, I'm going to have a child, I'm going to say I'm going to be a very patient mother, I'm going to do all the right things, I'm going to raise my child like this. But again, I will get angry if that's my nature, if that's my way of being. I'll get angry at every small thing, I'll snap at everybody, I'll probably snap at the child. So intentions can be there. I think nobody wakes up with bad intentions, but I think our way of being takes over. And I think we forget our intent, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in partnership, whether it's in business, whether it's in everything we do. I may have had the intention this morning to wake up and have the best podcast, but on the way here, sitting here with you, there are a lot of things that could have triggered me to, let's say, not give my best. So sometimes everything else takes over intent. Environment takes over. My point of asking you the question is, how do you walk into a marriage with all the right intentions? But when you get there, you realize the opposite person, the family, everybody is going to be so different from you. How do you start that on the right note? How do you maintain that right note? How do you say, forget everybody calling for harmony, I'll be the one providing that harmony in this marriage?
Yeah. Now, if you see any discipline of listening that I was talking about, I promise how I listen and I consistently listen like that. How you appear to me, I have a choice about that. All of this sounds possible, right? But it's not falling from the sky. Unless, so I was saying that after 33 years of all the training and meditation and reading and whatnot, I have 3 reminders in a day to stop and notice my body sensations. All said and done. See, when I did the basic course in Landmark, the foundation course, I was 24 years old. What I wanted the most, my mother to be secure. My father died when I was 14. My mother to be secure about her future, about us, about our financial future and all that. What was I doing? Making her more and more insecure. Blabbering away about my problems with her. That's what I did after that photo. I went and told her that from now on I'm not going to cry and crib with you. I'm ashamed that I did that. I'm 6 feet tall and you gave me the education that you couldn't afford. And this is what I'm doing. From a 200 square feet chal ka room, you made me this human being and I'm cribbing and crying with you at 24. Not going to do that anymore. In the next 1.5 years, my business grew in revenue terms by 13 times. That's why I'm saying context is decisive. The same situation, I studied from the same institute, I had all the knowledge, I could talk about different smoking points of oils and all that. But if you ask me how much money I brought home, I could talk for hours about food and cook also. But still, the courage required to take those steps at work came out of promising my mother, I'm not cribbing anymore. So I'm saying that those kind of conversations in the direction of the relationship, whether it's your mother, whether it's your sister, whether it's your husband, whether it's your wife, who are you? Why are you there in that relationship? Who is that person for you? Now, this is fundamental. If you can keep that present, people worry about what I should say, when I should not speak. Now, that's unmanageable. The only way you can alter how you're feeling all the time is through alcohol or some substance abuse. That's the only way you can do that. How you are listening right now, you do have a choice about that.
Correct. We all have a choice.
Yeah, how they react, you don't have a choice about that. But are you connected? Are you there with them right now? And who are they for you? If you address that. And why are you here? Okay. Now, you lose that again and again. If you meditate, you know that you go all over the place. You go,
Yeah.
You go all the way back to your school days and to your future also. Though you'll have to keep catching yourself and bringing you back. But is it possible to live our marriage like that?
Absolutely. I think we all have the choice to be present. And like you said, the most important is choose to be present how you choose to be present, right?
Yeah.
Choose to listen with full freedom, which I think we don't end up practicing. Even if we start with that somewhere along the, journey, we kind of lose that. And again, our preconceived notions take over, our conditioning takes over. But yeah, I completely agree with you. It's a choice that we make, and I think we have to make that choice every day. And can be tough because habit is something, like you said, if you are born with that habit of I'm going to go against what is being told to me, तो वो habit इतनी strong होती है that you will end up, repeating that in everything that happens with you.
Yeah, it's mechanical.
Yeah, it's mechanical.
It's actually remote दबा के channel change होता रहता है ना, जो channel choose किया है और automatically channel change हो रहा है. So I enter home at 7:30 instead of 7 that I promised. There's a predictable conversation going to happen. She's going to tell me you said 7, and then how it comes to me, given the machinery I am, like brown and 6 feet tall. So the same machine is walking in. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, the defensiveness starts from.
So it begins with, it was your idea to move to this side of the city, wasn't it? I told you I'm in the retail business. I should be around my businesses. Then blah blah blah. But when you go to conduct courses in Landmark, you're never late. Huh? So the next half an hour is so familiar, so predictable, and nothing new. Now, does it honor who I am? Does it honor who she is? First thing is, I said 7 and 8. Now, not only you can disappear it in the moment, also you can disappear that space forever. How? Start communicating at 4 o'clock that you're not reaching at 7. Or
Simple.
Some days leave at 4 and come home, although you said 7. So this thing that you don't care and you do your own thing and everything else is more important is over as a space. So now I'm saying literally, listening creatively, create, resolve, fulfill is what I said. Listening is for creating, resolving, fulfilling. What? Anything you want. If you're committed to marriage, then marriage. If it's committed to divorce. So you can create either direction.
That's true.
So create, resolve and fulfill. So actively call and listen. What do you want for your mother? What's most important for you or your mother? Actively call what you want for your customer. Okay, how are you going to do that? So, it's natural then. You don't have to think. You don't have to be a martyr. I stopped using food colors in my restaurant business in 1999 because the naturopath told me it's not good for my mother's metabolism with diabetes. I said, what I won't give my mother, I won't give to my customer. Now, it was natural to make that choice. But surprisingly, my ability and my stand for selling my products grew dramatically because of that. Because I trust myself so much as a businessman in food and beverage business. I'm expanding in my trust as a son for my mother, so literally you're becoming bigger in your listening of yourself. So there's great physics to the whole thing.
What do you mean by invisible contracts in relationships? I know we spoke about it earlier a little bit. Can you explain how early do these contracts actually start and what do they actually mean?
I told you that, at some point, all of us identify ourselves as something. So don't tell me what to do. And I'm not an idiot. So there are two important facets to this foundation, okay, of this thing who walks into your room, okay. That's how I'm already essentially listening. The base of how I listen is like that. Any threat to that image that I have, anything coming at me, I'm always wary of that image that I know myself to be. It's like a machinery, it's just a habit. And जैसे मैंने बताया कि बचपन से कुछ अनुभवों को न अनुभव करने का, कुछ अनुभव हुए. Father said, so do what you are told, and he used a cane along with it. So there are usually painful, stressful experiences, and you resist those experiences that you experience in that moment. So I saw 2 red lines when I was 10 years old in the report card. Cannot happen to me. Okay, now next exam I was 5th. So you have a drive not to experience that. In our training we call it unannounced ground rules you have. Invisible contracts. You don't tell people how to deal. So I don't tell you, don't even insinuate that I'm an idiot. Or don't tell me what to do. So I don't tell my wife that. I don't tell my business partners that. But I actually walk around listening like that.
Yeah, all your reactions are based on that theory.
Yeah, and then I'm wondering how come my communication is not effective. I'm inviting her to blah blah blah. Okay, how are we going to decorate the new house that we are buying? Okay, or the new car or blah blah blah. Whatever. The conversation is a struggle. I'm wondering why there is no velocity. I want what you want. Yeah, come on. Business also partners. We are expanding. We team. All of us want that. You will get better incentives. Come on. Why are you struggling? Now, I don't notice that the invisible contracts that I am walking around with, that all deals are offer. If you insinuate, forget insinuate. Even if I think you thinking that I am an idiot, all deals are off. And then I'm wondering why I'm not effectively being able to bring out the best in you.
So it's emotional survival, right?
On the court, see, I kept saying that on the court, actually kya ho raha hai? What's happening on the court? I'm walking in like this in communication with you. And sometimes trying to be smart and impress and be charismatic. Then again, so the attention is not on the Excel sheet. The attention is not on your freedom and your growth and nurturing you. And I'm saying that I am your partner and blah, blah, blah and all that. And I really have good intentions. But on the court is where it's happening. It's not happening in the next 30 years. Now, unless I have practices, guess what? I'm going to walk around you, listening to you like, why are you calling me an idiot? Oh, look, you said that again. Don't keep telling me about how to clean the bathroom or the toilet seat or
don't tell me what to do.
Don't tell me about how to park the car, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Don't. So everything, irrelevant things become more important. And really who I am is, you will blossom around me. Somehow I'm suffocating you. What I'm saying is, there are simple practices. It's not complex. It's very simple. If it is getting complex, you are making it complex.
That's true. Tell me the 3 most common invisible contracts you see in people, because now you've interacted with so many people, you're coaching so many people. What are the 3 most common invisible contracts you think people don't even realize they're carrying?
You have to get me first. People, like, you have to get me first. You have to get me first. You have to get me. They walk around like as if people should first listen to them. And most people walk around not being gotten. Nobody got me. Nobody understood me. No. So you see that's one of the most common crib that people have, that common complaint that even my mother didn't understand. Or, people don't understand. Very rarely I find someone who really gets me.
Yeah, someone who gets me.
Yeah. So, those are the common complaints. Or, am I worth it? Am I worth it? Or do you really love me? So, do you really love me? Do you really love me? Do you?
So, when you say, do you really love me? And I think people have a doubt somewhere so strongly as their baseline that does anyone really like me? Does anyone actually really love me? Is it coming from a space of being unloved as a child? Is it coming from a space of having no confidence? Or is it coming from a space of self-doubt that parents' family environment put in them?
Now, definitely, you can psychoanalyze the whole thing and go back to instances where I'm saying whatever happened at the age of 10 when I saw the report card with 2 red lines, or my father said, do what I do. Those experiences are over in 1977 and 1981 and all that. Those are over. They have no relevance to what's relevant right now is the experience right now I'm resisting here in this morning as I was getting ready to come here. Okay, and the rest of the day as I go back from here, and I spend the day with my wife. In those moments, how I'm listening, how I am there, receiving, and how am I calling for? What am I calling for? Okay, most of the time, if you see, our listening is driving something, is forcing something, making something happen. And if I say that, what are you calling for? Sounds good. I wish I was free to call forth something. Actually, it's always you calling forth. None of it is happening to you. Understanding, people want to understand all of this. Let me psychoanalyze, how did I become this driven guy, make results happen? Oh, because I don't want to fail, because of that 2 red lines and blah, blah. So, right now, what is driving me? Right now, what are the body sensations? What are my thoughts? What are the feelings? Am I my thoughts? Or do I have these thoughts? Or who looked at those thoughts? Now, the moment I see that I have thoughts, I am not my thoughts. Those are just patterns that randomly keep happening to me. And they're damaging people who matter to me. They were damaging my mother. Really, nothing more important for me at that time than my mother. When I was 24, even today, she's no longer there, but she is that important to me. But somehow we end up doing things which doesn't bring out the best in the marriage, the best in the business, the best in parenting, while we intend the best. And we are clear that this is something comes and hijacks us. And I am saying, कुछ अनुभव को न अनुभव करने का जो मशीनरी है हमारा, ऑटोमेटिक, कुछ चीज़ें मैं अनुभव नहीं करना चाहता, वो हाईजैक कर रही है मुझे. और अगर मैं इफ द मोमेंट आई कैन, मतलब सिंपल एक प्रैक्टिस बोला, दरवाज़ा खोलने से पहले आज ही यू कैन डू दैट. द मोमेंट यू आर अबाउट टू ओपन द डोर, नोटिस who is walking in and how's the environment going to be. What are you calling in this environment? This 700 square feet. 700 square feet in Mumbai, right? So 700 square feet house, what are you calling? In the 1200 square feet house, what are you calling? In the 150 square feet room, what are you calling? What's the environment? So I'm sitting here in my restaurants. What is the environment? What is my word about it? How's it going to be? Am I setting it up to call forth? I'm literally saying that one can create reality of your marriage, of the kind of brother you are, of the kind of son you are, of the kind of parent you are. So everybody understands this, okay? And I want to be a free spirit from not the society telling me what to do, not the ethics, or the right marriage, good husband. Nobody gets to dictate who I am. It should come from within me.
Yeah.
Everybody wants that. It's not here, it's here. वो अंदर से आ नहीं रहा. अब तो लोग अगर ऐसा बोलते हैं, मैं उनको बोलता हूँ 2 त्रिफला लो, त्रिफला की गोलियाँ लो 2 आयुर्वेदिक, अंदर से आएगा. Okay, so I'm saying that you can choose how the environment will be from here. Your speaking falls in line with it. See how I chose to listen to you. My speaking will fall in line with that. I don't have to worry about modulating my voice. Am I really respectful enough? I don't have to bother about that.
Yeah.
When I will pause, when I will not. I have to choose that. One of the intent I had was that today people really, one thing they get in the conversation, that whatever the situation is, whoever you're talking to, what you are creating is always a choice you have.
So I think in relationships, people tend to feel more justified being resentful than being vulnerable to renegotiate these contracts that they have with themselves. Can you explain that?
Yeah, the moment you're stuck with a position and again repetitively, see, even you decide to be generous, more peaceful, more calm. But a 50-50 deal, 50% I will bring, 50% I will give up. But she has also got to give up sometime. Na? And she should also partner in the way we are bringing up our child. Na? Or the pets also, the way we are taking care of. 50-50 doesn't work. 100% me for the environment at my business. 100% me for the environment is what works. I'm just saying the damn physics of it. Okay, the physics of it is that you have to come from, you are 100% responsible. You know the world of your wife. You know how your child is unfolding and growing. If you can own the whole environment, you can own the environment of the school. You can be really, not to blame, but be responsible for. This is where you are in Mumbai and your child is 10 years old and he's growing here. So you can actually own the environment of the whole thing. Now you can have actions to create where you didn't see any before. Now there is something that you can send to your mother when they are talking about your child, when she's talking to your mother-in-law about the child, that how anything negative or positive shapes the relationship, shapes the environment. They might not even be speaking in front of the child, but it does shape the environment.
Correct.
So all of these, if we can start, weeding out the pollution.
No, but I asked you, why do people feel more justified being resentful than actually being vulnerable to renegotiate all these contracts?
So the thing is that there is a glee that people have in being right, and there's a lure for it. Okay, and they in the moment, the way you feel and the habit you have of wanting to win that conversation, or somehow controlling or forcing your way or making it happen, or somehow surviving, managing to get out of that circumstance and feeling, like I was saying, it always boils down to in the moment how you are feeling, and that feeling is more important than what you really intend. People, when particularly when marital issues are concerned, or even dealing with being a parent is concerned, this is a very common complaint for mothers and about children, that the way they are lost in the mobile and or with the tablet or whatever, and something
Screens.
Yeah, you won't make something happen, and somehow the child just won't understand, and really don't have an answer to how to deal with this, and this really is important for you, so that you can deal with it only right now in this moment is not even a possibility. You want to handle the next 10 years in this conversation. Now, right now is the only place where your parenting is happening. Right now, the way you are listening, are you here? Maybe it's okay to let it be right now. Maybe it's not okay to let it be right now. But if you are here, you would know that, rather than bringing the next 10 years and the last 10 years to the conversation.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that people discover.
Sometimes people punish people in their environment, family members or colleagues or people in their business environment based on their own patterns or things that have happened to them. So let's say a mother punishes a child for everything that's happened to her until she's become a mother. You are punishing somebody in your business, somebody who's joined, somebody who's the head of finance because of something that's happened with you financially.
Yeah.
In life, we'll end up punishing people for agreements we have signed up for. Can you explain why this happens and how we can avoid doing this?
So, like I was saying, that there are patterns of listening and speaking that we have. Most of us speaking, almost 90%, 95% of us speaking is like that. It's predictable, it's familiar, and we tend to be right, and we invest more and more in defending ourselves, being more and more right. So you see that you get more and more hard as you grow older, and you get more and more fixed about your views as you get
Correct.
older, and we are not present to the impact of that. तो वो मैं सही हूँ, मैं पनिश कर रहा हूँ ऐसा मेरे को लगता ही नहीं ना. I don't think that I am punishing anybody. I am doing what is right. This is needed, this is required, and the cost is something which we don't see. The impact on the other person, the impact on the environment, the impact of what's happening to the whole environment, whether it's at home or whether it's a workplace, how that pollution from the way you are dead right. There was a young girl who wanted to choose the way she wants to live and the kind of marriage she wants to have. She wanted to marry some guy from a different caste, and her father was hell-bent on not, that she cannot do that.
Won't allow it.
Yeah, and so it was some part of central India, not from the, cities are much different now. But this went on for a year. It became almost toxic. Like the girl was refusing to live with her parents. Now she was about to break barriers and abandon and walk away from there. So father could finally actually start to see the impact of that. And the girl participated in my course. And in that moment, during the course itself, she spoke to her father. And she said, they actually were able to see each other's point of view. And also, how being hardened in their point of view has impacted their whole family.
But why was he punishing her? What was the base thought of it?
Just the fact that this is not the kind of marriage you can choose. And this is my view about it. And you have to listen to your father. Grand old, typical Indian father he was. And she was hell-bent on being this independent girl who's educated, and she had lived in other cities also, so she was not going to follow toe in line. And so in that one conversation, in one phone call, it was possible to disappear something that had been like vicious poison in their family, for poisoning the whole environment. Even the mother was impacted by that for almost more than a year now. Okay, so people actually are able to, in a moment, give up what they've been stuck with for years to, now it was now that she's chosen to marry this guy for the last 1 year, but she has been avoiding domination from her father all throughout. So it kind of, in that it is possible for people to give up things that they are stuck with and being right about, and stuck in that being right. This way to listen, this way to live life is really possible, is something that people discover when they have such conversations. And it's possible for anybody to have, particularly if you notice, people who are watching this podcast can start noticing how much being right has become more important than what you said, intimacy, than connectedness, than actually love being present.
Yeah, I think everybody chooses being right over harmony, because somewhere deep down is the only way to justify what you think and how you think, right? It becomes a justification to self. And I think it's so important that everyone is able to justify to themselves that they are right and their way of thinking is the only way of thinking. And theoretically, it sounds very easy ki nahi, I'm able to listen to people from different perspectives, I'm able to accept people from different perspectives. But I think in the end, that need to be right is so important.
Now, finally, see how you leave people with what experience you leave people with. Like whatever your point of view is, whatever you're struggling with, what is the environment that you're leaving people with? What is the experience that you left them with is what will count. Okay, so the environment that was there for his daughter is not what he wanted. And being able to see the impact of that is one of the things that allows people to let go.
Why do people enjoy or justify their life by staying upset? You know, you'll see lots and lots of stories or lots and lots of examples of people who have justified their entire life by being upset by society, by being upset by, I don't know, ancestral people have been in their family, by justifying कि हम तो इसलिए दुखी है ना कि हमारे साथ ऐसे ही होता है. You know, that common statement. It's like they've defined their entire life by being upset. Why do you think people like to stay stuck in that?
So I'm saying that, it's just whatever I consider myself to be, whatever, and then my brain is designed to fend for it. It's a fight or flight machine. So it just hardens that image for myself more and more, that point of view, that kind of mother I am, the kind of wife I am, the kind of husband I am, the kind of son I am. And as years pass by, you invest more and more in that, you spend blood and sweat in it, and you have to fight for it now.
The identity you've created yourself.
You are just seeking any threat, any time coming at it. Even nuance, forget about words being spoken. Any nuance in that direction which occurs like a threat, you react to it. So, I have this woman who has participated with me, she's in her 70s now. It's tragic. Alcoholic husband, mother was too domineering, then how her daughters don't care, now she's alone, and she's a powerhouse. She actually is able to cause a lot of things in her surrounding, make people grow, make people take actions where they didn't, and she's doing work in her region which nobody in her age would bother to. She's in her late 70s, mid 70s, and she has that spirit. But the drag that this thing has, this story about, how it's not a story for her. It's really real. Her mother did that to her. Her husband did that to her. Her children are like that.
But then her narrative of her life is I'm upset.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, I think, one of the main reasons relationships suffer or relationships get killed. The main reason is self-respect, and people equate that with being right. Can you explain why do people equate being right and self-respect?
See, this whole deal about self-respect actually is what I was saying, getting stuck in some image first of all, and the respect of that image, the way you want it to be heard by people. So some people continuously are, so I know of this person who has been training with me. All the time it is a question about I have not been respected the way I should be respected. I have not been heard the way I have not. And it's there rampant in parenting, with his wife, at his workplace, and people are using him and throwing him. Again and again, it gets more and more evidence for that. And he's been around for some time on my teams and all. So there are times when he goes beyond that. He actually sees the trap of how he has been stuck in that image and how he has to be rebellious and how against anti-establishment at his workplace, the cost he has paid for it. And he sees all of that. And there is so much drive in it. And self-respect has got nothing to do. Self-respect is, the way you value yourself. Nobody can give you. People will react whatever way they react. How are you listening to the real self-respect? It comes from what? when you are taking actions and you trust what actions you are taking, you are trusting yourself to be true to yourself, and you really authentically respect who you are. You walk around with that respect. Now, nobody can give that to you.
Yeah, I
Self-respect
think
is,
people think self-respect is something the whole world is going to give.
yeah, that you can be guaranteed to be going downhill. You know, you're going to be, everything and anything can be a threat to that kind of self-respect. When you really trust yourself in the actions that you take and you honor who you said you are in your marriage, the kind of father you are, the kind of businessman or the service provider you are in the work that you're doing, and you, in trying circumstances, you have been able to do that, you have been true to yourself, then you will experience self-respect. You won't be dependent on anybody else also for self-respect. Now, every time this guy has discovered that, he's moved mountains and he's been like an avalanche in whatever he's doing. A velocity comes into his action. The moment he gets stuck into that story again, that's why I said that there are patterns you have, and again you get into those patterns. So the moment you get stuck in it, again there is a drag in your fulfillment, and there is sadness, there is drama, there is anger.
You know, there is one is point of view and one is disrespect. And I think people tend to get them jumbled. If you say, Hari says this table is white, and I say, no, I don't think it's white, it's light grey. One is Hari says, you have a different way of looking at it. One is you're disrespecting how I look at it. And I think people confuse the two. Can you explain this?
If I'm really intending to communicate with you, I can begin to see, like, you know, from what perspective does this look white? It's clearly grey for me, but there is some view, she is saying it is white. Okay, so at least let me stop and start noticing that from where does this appear grey? Where does this appear white? How come it appears grey to me? How come it appears white too? So I can at least stop and pause in conversations where I find myself predictably. There are, you know, most of our patterns of reacting and being right to people are very predictable. Yeah. So very familiar. So if you can catch those patterns and you can actually intervene.
No, but then why do people equate me calling this table light grey and you calling it white? Why do people take it as disrespect? Why do they take it personally? Let's say you just have a point of view. You are saying the solution is to look at it that the perspective is of seeing it white. Why does she see it white? Why do I not see it white? That is a very, I would say, aware state of mind. But I'm saying, why do people very quickly take it as disrespect?
Most of these tit for tat conversations are just reactions. See, the world, that's why I was saying that the context is decisive. The world of communication, if it is one of reaction, it's calling forth reactions. The whole environment is one of reaction. Okay? So rather than what you can practice in this situation is stop and actually begin to see how things are appearing to people. If this is my view, how come this is my view? What are you pointing out? Maybe you're saying something which is right under my nose which I'm not seeing. So like that kind of openness one can practice. And particularly I am saying that you might not do that in any and every conversation, but at least if you can start noticing the patterns that you have, where you usually end up in an argument or end up defending or kind of, run away, walk on eggshells in certain conversations. What are the patterns in those conversations? If you can start identifying that, that can be a good beginning for anyone. And we are just talking about now basics of where we can practice something rather than, like I was saying, eliciting reality and all that.
So I feel in the wellness industry, most people preach and teach this concept of letting go. I think it can easily be misunderstood as abandoning yourself, abandoning your own thoughts and beliefs by letting it slide. Somebody says something to you without processing, without taking it personally, just let it go. What does it really mean to let it go? How is it different to abandoning yourself? And can you explain what acceptance really is in this situation?
Yeah, now mostly immediate answer would be, to be zen-like, drop it and let it pass by. Well left कर देना ball को यार. So that kind of conversation. So and it is sacrificing. You kind of have to be a martyr to keep letting it go. Now, who is letting it go? Why are you letting it go? Why will you let it go? Why you should let it go? Now, these are important questions to ask. What matters to you? So it's not letting go at all then. So it's not, you're not letting anything go. What you're doing, what matters to you. Actually, you're honoring who you say you are by doing what you're doing. मैं कोई मेहरबानी नहीं करता किसी पे, न लिया न दिया मेहरबानी. So I am creating exactly what I want to create in my marriage. I'm not letting go. I'm not sacrificing. I'm in my being a parent or my being a businessman. If I am doing what is required, what I say I am. Actually, it is not letting go. It is true self-expression. You don't, when you're dropping something in favor of what really matters to you, what's really important for you. And it requires a certain consciousness to do that. What I should let go, what I shouldn't let go, what is, again, that self-respect thing. What is sacrificing? No, you're not sacrificing anything. I don't sacrifice anything. I don't depend on hope for anything. I am standing for what I am standing for, and I'm creating what I'm creating. And it's not even significant, like I'm carrying some weight on my shoulder. And it can live like that. It actually boils down to not attaching significance and doing what you said you would do, creating actually having what you want manifest.
If someone changed just one thing after listening to this episode, not their partner, not their relationship, but the way they hold meaning, what would you want that shift to be?
See, what shift in listening you can bring in any situation has to be from, rather than defending and the first reaction is defending the identity, position, fending or proving or making some point. Moving, just identifying that. The moment you identify that, you're present to what is required. What is needed that would move the conversation. So being able to move the conversation from what is needed, what is that person wanting, what will move the conversation in the direction that I want, that I'm committed to. Those are the directions you'll take. You'll ask questions from there, see what you're not seeing, and have conversations from there.
Do you think most people are brave enough to give up being right? Because that would mean rewriting the entire story that they've lived inside for years.
Everyone is. So that's been my experience in training, that everyone has that in them, because people really want life around them to flourish. Everybody intends good things. Everybody wants, but they don't know how to access that. They're too clouded. Everybody has the courage. The only thing is that they need access. How they can have access to what is happening right now, what is required right now, whether it's with their children or whether it's at their workplace, what is required right now. So courage will be a natural fallout of that. Brave, anybody would give up if they saw the impact they are having of the way they are stuck and how it is impacting what really matters to them. There are people I've met who, for 20 years have had a miserable marriage, okay, or have been struggling at their work for, unproductive and being last in the sales team and all that. Move straight up to the first position. The moment they start seeing the impact of being stuck and why they are stuck, how they have been, more interested in showing something else, that I don't care and I will not fall in line or something or the other, is more important than they moving the game forward and what they really want. And straight away moving from zero position or the second last position to the first position in their sales team. So people find that in the marriage which is about to fall apart and about divorces, there are people who after divorcing have gone back and gotten back to marriage. When they really begin to see that being right, being stuck in that, the impact of that, when they begin to see that courage is natural, they want what they want, they know what matters to them.
Thank you so much, Hari, for being with us today, and this was a really special conversation for us.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Hari Kotian and I am a communication course leader at Landmark. I am inviting you to watch this whole episode on living a created life, on listening and speaking to live a life where the reality is created by you, on how you listen. Watch this episode, the whole episode, on all streaming platforms on the Human Thread.